total opposite. They don't tell the truth. You can't trust them with your money. You can't trust them with your heart. You can't trust them to treat you well. And we become injured and hurt because of who we trust. Now the message he's trying to convey to them, if you believe in God, if you trust in God, just trust in me right now. Trust in the changes I'm going to go through is going to be the best thing that could happen to you. Just trust that I'm going to solve this problem. Just trust me for a little bit. You know, we'll trust people. We'll put all our stock in people, and they will let us down. And then we'll come to church and act like that we hadn't been told anything as far as instructions. And we've got the instruction manual with us, the Bible. I received the email at work, and I usually don't read forwarded email. And someone had an issue with a television show that came on ABC, and they wrote ABC, sending ABC an email talking about what they believed and what the Bible said and all this. They didn't believe that ABC would send back a reply. The reply was very interesting because it said that the Bible is full of stories that were written over hundreds of years by many different people, and they're only stories. There is power in the Word. And if you follow the Word, you can get down, at the end of the story, you'll be in the right position, in the right place, at the right time, in the position to reap what you've sown in righteousness. And so we see that a lot of things are going to go on with Jesus, and he's asking them, don't lose what you gain. A lot of times we see people go through, we start losing what we gain because we're watching them. He says, you believe in God, God's going to allow me to go through something. If you believe him, also believe in me. Also trust in me. I told you I was getting up on the third day. Just trust that. It may not look like I'm getting up, but just trust it. Now, they were with Jesus. What about us? We never walked with him 3.5 years. We've never sat down and had supper with him. But we have, however, been in fellowship with God. We felt his spirit, and we heard him speak in that small, still voice like he spoke to Elijah when Elijah was at the mouth of that cave. He saw the wind come through. He saw everything else come through, and everything was happening around him. But when God spoke in that still, small voice, he knew who it was. And we know who God is when he begins to speak to us. He will drown out all the noise. He will drown out all the chaos. He will move things aside, and he will speak to you, and he will tell you what you need to do. Oh, yes. All we got to do is trust in what he's saying. And then he moves them. He moves them from that place. See, he got to establish, now you got to keep on trusting me because I'm going to show you a mystery. And I'm going to tell you about my Father's house. My Father's house have many mansions, and if you took the word mansion and you looked at it from the NIV standpoint, it would say rooms. There are many rooms. If it were not so, I would have told you. But I'm going to go and prepare a place for you, which means that there is room in the heavenly kingdom for you. Yes. And so we see him preparing them for 3.5 years for him to go and prepare a place to bring humanity into. He's getting ready to move us into our heavenly home. He says there is room. There is not a limited space. There is room for you.
Yes.
When you look at our scripture, Matthew 25th chapter, when you look at that, you can study it when you get home, but I want to bring out one key point. When you see this scripture and you see this parable being taught, don't you know that it's almost at the end of the story that you see these things happening? It's so close to the end because a process they have been going through for a while. The bridegroom has been gone for a while. He's already paid the price for them. He's going to prepare a place to bring his bride. He's already gone. As soon as he left, they changed the way that they dressed. They changed the way that they acted. And if the bride changed the way that she acted, the bridesmaids, they had to change too. And you see them waiting on the processional. So there was a call ahead that the processional was on the way. So you're looking at a story almost at the end. And a lot can be said almost at the end. Some people, they missed the mark almost at the end. Some races are lost almost at the end. Some sporting events, the team loses at the end. And there are going to be some saints and there are going to be some people that are going to miss the mark almost at the end. So you got a situation here, and let me describe the situation. You got it in the scripture. It says that you had 5 wise virgins, you had 5 foolish virgins. What made them foolish? Well, first of all, they looked saved. They acted saved. They had their lamps. It looked like a light was burning and everything was going fine. And they looked saved. They act saved. They talk saved. They had the confession that they had been saved all day long, but it was a perfected life when you look at those 5 foolish. A perfected life. I don't do this. I don't do that. I don't do that. But at the end of the story, it's going to show who they are. They're up ahead. They come to a place, and it's been told that the processional is coming through here. And so they come, and you can't get in the processional unless you got a lamp. And so they have their lamps, but they didn't bring any extra oil. You know, you can get saved, and if you ain't getting renewed day by day, you can find yourself in spiritual trouble.
Yes.
You can find yourself in spiritual trouble. And when they sit there, and they didn't have any oil to put in their lamps, when the procession got near, there was someone who called out and said that the bridegroom cometh. And they got up, and 5 of them had extra oil. They poured it in the lamp. They trimmed the wick. They did everything that they were supposed to do, and they lit their lamps, and they were ready to go. And then the other 5 who did not prepare themselves for the trip, they got up and they wanted to trim their lamps, and they had no oil. And they looked at the 5 who had oil and said, "Give us oil." And they said, "No, you go back and get it where they buy and sell it at. You go back," and said, "You go back and do your first work over again. You just sat here so long that your lamp didn't went out. You sat here so long that your mind, instead of being regenerated, is degenerated. And now you can't muster nothing up. And so you can't muster nothing up. You can't even muster up a yell no more." And they could not enter. When they went back, it was too late. And that's how it's going to be with some. They've got